Whereas the final condition here we are given 100, less than 100. But here after 10 only it will come out from this loop here. If n percentage I, if it is equals to 0, what it means? It means that whatever number we are given, that number will be divided by I. After executing statement 1 and statement 2, it will not move to statement 3 as well as statement 4. On that place, this control will transfer to whichever label in the go-to statement they given. Welcome back to one and all. Myself, Vasanta, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Today, we are going to start with the fourth session of Control Statement chapter. Whereas in the previous session, you have studied regarding iterative construct, or we can say it as looping also. It is the ability of the programming language to execute the statements again and again, repeatedly. Under that, you have studied regarding what do you mean by while loop, how exactly the while loop will work, as well as do while loop, the difference between while loop and do while loop. With that, for loop, on that, how statements can be executed. All these things you have studied in the previous class. Whereas on today's class, you will come to know regarding jump statement or transfer of control from within the loop here, or within the program, from one part of the program to another part of the program, how we can able to jump. Under that you will study. Then under that especially you will study regarding break statement. Whereas break statement helps to come out from the loop itself. Whereas the next one, exit function, helps to come out from the program itself. Whereas break helps to come out from the loop, whereas exit helps to come out from the program itself. And continue statement, whereas continue helps to continue the set of statement again and again, repeatedly. There, without any condition, we are just, if you write continue, whichever part we are given, whichever label we are given, there it will jump, and here that will continues to process. And the next one is go to statement. Go to also helps to go to particular statement here. These are the few jump statements. Now, one by one we'll discuss. First, we'll discuss about jump statement or transfer of control from within a loop here. What do you mean by this? Transfer of control within the looping are used to terminate the execution of loop. When you want to terminate, when you want to stop the execution of the loop, on that time also we are using jump statement. Existing a loop or halfway through a skip the loop. All this can be done by using break, exit and continue statement. Then one by one we'll discuss. First we'll discuss about break statement. What exactly the break statement will perform? The break statement helps to break the loop here especially. But when they come on exit, there we are just coming out from the program itself. Whereas the break statement has two uses. You can use it to terminate a case in the switch statement. We are using this in switch statement to come out from the loop, and you can also use it to force immediate termination of loop like while, do while, for, by using normal conditional test here. We can use this in while loop, do while loop as well as in for loop. With that, in switch statement also we can use this break statement. This break statement helps to come out from the loop itself. Whereas when the break statement is encountered inside a loop, the loop is immediately terminated and program control resumes at the next statement. Then now I am going to explain how break statement will work in the program. For example, the general form of break statement, like just we have to use the keyword break, that's all. Now we'll explain that with an example as well as example program. If you consider this example, here we are used for I equals 0, I is less than 100 as well as I plus plus, or if I want I can replace that I as n. N equals 0, n is less than 100 as well as n plus plus. Here see out n, that means now we are displaying the n value. In the beginning, it will display n equals 0. If it is equals to 10, then we are given break concept. That means Whereas the final condition here we are given 100, less than 100. But here after 10 only it will come out from this loop here. This is the main use of break statement. Now we'll explain with an example program to test whether the given number is a prime number or not using break statement. Here syntax as well as example. Now we are explaining the program regarding that. I want to check whether the given number is prime number or not. Then how to do that? First, as usual, we have to start with the header file #include iostream.h. iostream.h is a supporting header file for scene as well as cout, and the next header file #include conio.h. This conio.h is a supporting header file for clear screen as well as getCS function. Next, we have to start with the main program, word main. Here, we are declaring the variable n, I as well as status. We are declaring 3 variables, all the 3 variables of type integer format, that is n, I and status. N represent for which number we want to find whether it's a prime number or not. Whereas I for incrementation purpose and to decide whether it's a prime number or not. For that sake, we are using the one more variable status. Now, after that, we have clear screen. Here, first in the output screen, we will display that enter the number. Consider this your output screen. There, it will display enter the number. Then afterwards, we will input that number, whichever number you want. You can input 10, 20, how much, whichever number you want, you can input. Then, in the beginning, we are initializing the status equals 1. We will assume the status value is 1. Then, for loop we are starting for I equals 2. It means that the initial value here, it will take it as 2. Then I is less than or equals to n divided by 2. That means here whatever number I given, off of that it will take. Then I plus plus. Then here inside the for loop, here we have if n percentage I if it is equals to 0. It means that if the remainder part if it is equals to 0, then the status represent. On this if condition, the status represents 0. On that time, it is not a prime number, it has to display, then it has to come out from the loop. For the sake, we are using here break concept. Whichever number we are given, that number is divided by I value. That means here first time it will be divided by 2. If the remainder, if it is equals to 0, here we are using percentage symbol that represents the remainder. If it is equals to 0, then the status, in the beginning we initialize it as 1, now it will take it as 0. Once if it is take it as 0, it is not a prime number, then break. Then afterwards, we will end the for loop. Here, if status, it means that if status value, if it is equals to 1, on that case, it is a prime number, it will display, then getCH. If status value, if it is equals to 0, then it will display it as a not a prime number. If it is equals to 1, then it will display it as it's a prime number. Like this, break statement is used anywhere, especially in the looping, where it may be for loop, you can use while loop, do while loop, anywhere, or in switch statement also, we can use this break concept. Next, we will discuss about the next jump statement, that is exit function. Whereas, what is the main use of exit function? There is a difference between break as well as exit function. Whereas, break function is used to come out from the loop, whereas exit function is used to come out from the program itself. Whereas here, this function causes immediate termination of the entire program. Whereas when the command break, it will use it to come out from the loop. Whereas here, it is used to come out from the program or terminate from the program, forcing a return to the operating system. Whereas to represent, the general syntax is exit function. Only thing exit function we will write. Sometimes we used to write 0 also here inside this exit function. There an exit code of 0 means that the program finished normally, and any other value means that some error or unexpected result happened. It means that if I'm going to write 0, it means that program finished normally. Next, we will explain this exit function with one example as well as syntax. Now consider to test whether the given number is prime or not using exit function. Whereas in the previous same program we have considered, but there we are using break concept. Now we are using exit function. First, as usual, we will start with the header file. As include iostream.h. This is a supporting header file for scene as well as cout function. Next, as include conio.h. This is a supporting header file for clear screen as well as getCS function. Next, we have to start with void main. Here, we are declaring two variables. One is n and one more is I. For incrementation purpose, we are using I as well as n represent for which number you are finding was a prime number or not. Then as usual in the output screen, first it has to display that, enter the number, then input that number n. Scene extraction operator n. Then in the for loop, the initial value we are given as 2 and the final value I is less than or equals to n divided by 2. Then I plus plus. That means we are using incrementation here. First, if n percentage I if it is equals to 0. What it means? It means that whatever number we are given, that number will divided by I. On that case, if the remainder part if it is equals to 0, then it will display not a prime number, then exit. No need to process at all. It has to come out from the program itself. Otherwise, if this condition is not satisfied, then here after this we will display that cout it is a prime number, then getCH closes. Whereas here we are open for loop and here we are closing. Whereas here we are open if as well as we are closed here. It means that by using break statement also we can come out as well as from exit also we can come out from that. Next we will discuss about continue statement. What exactly this continue statement states? The name itself suggesting continue. It means that we are continuing once again the same process. Once again we are continuing the same process. Here the continue statement causes the program to skip the rest of the loop in the current iteration as if end of the statement block has been reached, causing it to jump to start of the following iterations. Continue. Then here the continue statement works somewhat like break statement. Whereas here when they come on, instead of forcing termination, however, continue forces the next iteration of the loop to take place, skipping any code in between. It means that it helps to continue once again. For that purpose, we are using this continue statement. When they come on the general format, the general syntax of continue is directly you have to use just a keyword continue. If you write continue, then automatically it will continue once again. The same loop will continue once again. For example, for I, we initialize it as 10 and the final value I is less than 0 we are given and I minus minus. Then in this, if you observe, if n if it is equals to 10, then it will continue the process. If n if it is equals to 10, only on that case it will continue. It will display n value. It means that the main difference between break, exit and continue is break statement helps to come out from the loop. Exit function helps to come out from the program. Whereas continue statement helps to continue it once again the same loop. This is regarding continue statement. Next, we will discuss about go to statement. The name itself saying that go to, it means that whichever label we are given, to that label, the control will automatically, it will transfer. Here we are using the keyword go to. It means that whichever label on that go to we are given, go to, for example, 6 if I am going to write or any name A like that, then automatically the control will go to that label. The go to allows to make an absolute jump to another point in the program. From one point to another point directly we can able to jump here by using jump statement. This statement execution causes an unconditional jump or transfer of control from one statement to another statement within a program, ignoring any type of nesting limitations here. Without any limitation, without any conditions, directly it will jump from one part of the program to another part of the program. Whereas the destination is identified by a label which is then used as argument for the go-to statement. And here the label is made up of valid identifier followed by a colon here. That will explain with an example. Consider the general format is for go-to statement is here statement 1, statement 2 here we have. Then for example, go-to label name we are given. Then while writing go-to label name at the end, you have to put semicolon. It means that this control will transfer. Once again, it will go back to the given label wherever we are given that label. Whatever label name we are given, there it will move. That is nothing but go-to statement. This is a general syntax. Then afterwards, we have statement 3, statement 4. But what happens after executing statement 1 and statement 2, it will not move to statement 3 as well as statement 4. On that place, this control will transfer to whichever label in the go-to statement they are given. Now, we'll explain this with one example. There, to print 10 to 1 using go-to statement. I want to print the numbers 10 to 1. First 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 like that. I want to display the number from 10 to 1 by using go-to statement. Then first as usual, we will start with the header file. As include iostream.h. This is the supporting header file for scene as well as cout. And as include conio.h. This is a supporting header file for clear screen as well as getCS function. And the next one, as include iomanip.h. To manipulate the result, we need this iomanip.h. Then as usual, we want to start with the main program, void main. Here, we are declaring the variable n and here we initialize it also. In the beginning itself, for n, we initialize it as 10. It means that now n contains the value 10. And here, the loop is we are given as cout /t n. That means by just leaving some tab space, it will display the value of n. Then it means that in first it will display it as 10. Then once again here n minus minus we are given. That means decrement operator. In the beginning n value is 10. Now n value become 9. Then it will come here. If n is greater than 0, it will check. Yes, it is greater than 0. Then it will go back to loop here. Once again it will go back to loop here. Because unconditionally this control will transfer here from here to here it will transfer. Then here it will display just leaving some space and then it will display the next value. First 10 it will display, it leave tab space, then it will display 9. Then once again n value decreases, now n is 8. Then if n is greater than 0 it will check, then once again go to loop. It means that now 8 it will display like this, all the values it will display. Finally here it will display 1. Then once again n is decreases, now n becomes 0, condition not satisfied, then here end of loop will occur, then getCH, close the main program which you opened. This means that by go-to statement, unconditionally we can jump from one part of the program to another part of the program. These are the major concept on this chapter. It means that on this chapter you have studied regarding the selection construct like if else, if-else if, nested as well as switch. Whereas if statement is also called as one-way branching, if-else is called as two-way branching, if-else if is called as multiple-way branching, but when you come on switch statement is also called as multiple selection construct. And with that you have studied regarding iteration. On that iteration also we have three types, while loop, do while loop as well as for loop. The while loop is also called as pre-tested and do while is called as post-tested and for loop can be called as fixed execution. It means that on this chapter you will get the questions, explain the syntax with the flowchart and example of if statement or if else statement, switch statement, how exactly it will work. Then what do you mean by if else if statement, how exactly it will execute, and write the difference between while loop and do while loop or explain for loop. Otherwise, you may to get the question, explain jump statement. Or for 2 marks also, you may to get the question for 2 marks or for 1 marks also. What is the use of exit function, go to statement, go to exit, break, jump, continue. Regarding that, you may to get the questions on this chapter. This completes your control statement chapter. Next class, once again, we'll meet you with a new chapter. Thank you for all of you.